Meet me, Kim Wilson. I believe love wins. I've been married to my amazing husband for over 14 years. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. My parents did a wonderful job of loving me. I am the youngest of 3 siblings. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. My favorite food are buffalo wings. If there's no blue cheese, go ahead and suspend that whole transaction. Honey, I gotta have the blue cheese. Professionally, I am a licensed professional counselor in private practice. I am also a podcaster and motivational speaker. Oh yes, we're all more than just one thing at any given time. I love inspiring the masses. It's my purpose. I use my education in human behavior to facilitate dynamic workshops and live events about building healthy relationships. I am the creator of I Need a Session, which is a YouTube show and ebook. My favorite word is amazing. It's better than average and okay. My motto is, why settle for okay when amazing is an option? All right. Happy Thursday. Welcome to your new episode of I Need a Session. I'm your host, Kim Wilson. Thank you so much for joining me. Rita, can we get the comments so I can see the comments on the right-hand side so I can see who's hanging out with me this evening? Can we, or do I do that from my end? Let me just put it here. All right. Yes, so we are doing love and relationships tonight. The topic is returning to the ex, rekindling old flames. Raise your hand if you ever returned to the ex. I'm going to get right to it. You know, I don't like to waste any time. Listen, somebody is going to get healed tonight. Somebody is going to get fed tonight. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you, when it comes to rekindling, here's what I want to know. Why did the relationship end? Then we can figure out if we need to be rekindling some flame or not. It's one thing for a lot of times people will rekindle because of the flame. There's a flame inside of the intimacy. And some people feel like, oh, I just cannot let that go. But so I say, when I think about rekindling old flames, the number one question that comes to my mind is, why did the relationship end? The second question is, are the same for whatever the reasons were that this person became an ex? Are those same characteristics, issues, problems? Is it still there? And because change has a look, a sound, a smell. And if we are expecting a different result and we have the same thing going on, and when you rekindle, what is it that you think you're going to get when you rekindle with the old flame? So I'm not able, I see, we lighten up the comment. I can't see the comments. People are, hi, Tamiko. Hi, Carol, Tucker, Burden. Thank you for joining. Hi, LaWanda. Hi, Marissa. Hi, Karen. We rocking and rolling tonight. So now here's what I hear often when it comes to rekindling, when there has been a separation in the relationship. You know what label I hear often that gets people in trouble? Here it is. Friend. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. Let me take my time with this one. Let me just go in. It's that friend business, that friend talk. I mean, friend, what? It's that whole friend. Hi, Dominique. Come on through, niece. Now, let me just kind of go in here. So are we rekindling? Let's be clear here. Are we rekindling with somebody who is actually a friend to us? You know, in my mind, a friend is somebody who is kind to you. And when relationships start ending, people are not always kind to one another. The communication usually has deteriorated. When I say the communication has deteriorated, we may have engaged in silent treatments. The person stopped communicating with us. They may have become disrespectful in their language, name calling, over talking, yelling, just downright disrespectful. In my world, that's not how I treat my friends, and that's not how my friends treat me. Tamika said, no rekindle. When we do, it's physical. Whoa, wait a minute. What are you saying right there? Whoa, what are you saying right there? When we do, it's physical. Now, for my 20-year-olds, now I'm going to give my 20-year-olds a pass. You know, when you 20-something, 20-year-olds, they want to have fun. Okay, fun is a different thing. And so when we're rekindling, you got to be clear on what you're rekindling for. Are you rekindling to have more fun? Because now that's one thing. Now, yes, you can be over 40 and you could be looking for fun. Somebody who may have been married for quite some time and they say, you know what? I've been in a relationship for X amount of years. I got disconnected from my wants and my needs. And right now I just want to return to me. And if they saw somebody that they went to high school with, they saw, oh, I know, I high school sweetheart. Now let's be careful with that one too, rekindling with the old high school sweetheart. I mean, I think whenever we rekindle, even if we're meeting somebody for the first time, we have to be very clear on what we want so you can be sure to get what you want. And a lot of times, this is what I bump into, especially, well, I'm pulling this data because I do interact a lot with women and work a lot with women. They start off saying something like we're friends, but each time we interact with somebody and you get introduced to another area of that person's life, oh, don't let the person introduce you to some friends or family. You think, oh, wait a minute, we must be evolving. We becoming something. No, you still having fun. Did anybody make a definitive statement like, yo, I figured, we just kind of got back together. I know we're rekindling and everything. No. So now here's my question. If you have ever rekindled with somebody, was it bitter or was it sweet? Um, Tamika, you said kids' old memories. You got to tell me what you're connecting that to. I just kind of took off there. So um, now let me just kind of speak from my own personal experience. Yeah, now I have rekindled before. Let me just go ahead and tell you. Yeah, I married my ex. I married my ex. But let me tell you why though. Let me tell you why. Um, um, Before I do that, in the post, I've dated every guy twice. Now I believe in one and done. Oh, you don't say the whole word there. One and done. Okay, so let me tell you why. When we rekindled, because we were separated for about 4 years. This is when we were in our 20s and we had dated. When we did rekindle, I saw change. Something was different about him and something was different about me. We were both more mature. We met in college. And what was different about him back then, because when I first met my husband, when he was my boyfriend then, he used to count his money under the table, honey. He didn't. So he wasn't the person that counted his money in front of you. It was like an old man move. He would count that money under the table. I was like, oh, okay. So now when we rekindled and we got back together, that's what it was. What you need. I mean, he opened in the wallet, pull out. I'm like, whoa. Okay. That's how I knew. And it was, here's my social security number, here's my driver's license, anything you want to know. And so that's how I knew that it was a relationship worth rekindling, because there was transparency there was vulnerability there, and I could see the change, I could hear the change, I could see the change in myself. So that's how I knew personally that that old flame was worth rekindling. So what else do we have here in the chat? No do-overs. And so like I said, do-overs are okay when you can see change. If you think you're going to get something different than what you had before, if what you had before was a person who was not truthful, or somebody, they offered a lot of empty promises, they were not respectful, they were not kind, they were not willing to be vulnerable, they were not transparent. And if you want something the opposite of that, and if the person operated in the gray, if you want something opposite of that, I say you're going to bump into the bitter. That rekindling is not going to be sweet. It's going to be bitter, especially if you rekindle in the beginning, because the um, the intimacy is one of the contributors to your decision. That's something that's short lived. And when I say, let me just kind of break that open a little bit, let me just go right to it, sex, because intimacy is more than sex. Intimacy is when we are, we can engage in a back rub, and that's very soothing. Somebody puts their hand on your knee. Back in there, if you watch a movie from the 40s or the 50s, let somebody put their hand on their knee. It's like, oh, James. and chat and run your hands across James' head. And that James is like, by golly, Sue. So intimacy takes on a whole different meaning. So I just want to go back to that word friend. That's the thing that really gets us in trouble, because a lot of times we are not labeling the relationship properly. And when we start rekindling or dating an old flame, we're saying, oh, my friend. Is it your friend or your buddy? Is it your friend or your ex? Is it your friend, or is it, I don't want to use this term, but I'm going to go ahead and say it, sidekick? I mean, something, I just want to be very clear, because a friend in my world, a friend is what you need. How can I help? How can I support you? And sometimes that old flame is not always using that language. It's like, well, what can you do for me? Carol, I can't tell if that's I can't tell what kind of emoji is that, if it has a tear on it or what. Yes. So, and a lot of times in the beginning, if you're already on the phone with your girlfriends, and guys too, if you have any guys that catch this on the replay, if you're already on the phone with them and you have some suspicion, some self-doubt, that is usually a sign like, well, wait a minute, this is not worth rekindling, because now we're getting to the bitter. We're getting ready to go down that path of why we made the decision to separate from this person. And sometimes it's, let me put it on the other side. That person may have made the decision to separate from us. And some of those reasons can be, we may not be good communicators. We may not have been great partners. Sometimes when we have these kind of conversations, we're talking from the lens like somebody did something to us. And sometimes we are the ones that may have created the issue. We may have been a bully in the relationship. Oh, I know. I know, we don't see ourselves as bullies. Yeah, and sometimes people don't always want to rekindle something with a bully. Who wants to, in my mind now, returning to love is returning to kindness, respect, joy, all things good, all things amazing. So ultimately, when it comes to rekindling, don't settle for okay when amazing is an option. That's it. That's just the short and sweet of it. Should I rekindle? Well, here are your filters. Put your answers through this. Is it going to be okay, or is it going to be amazing? And here's the last thing here. One of the reasons why people rekindle when they know they don't need to, let me tell you why. Right here. I'm going to give it to you right here. Here's the word: fear. Fear is the reason that people will rekindle and settle for an old flame when they know it needs to be a one and done, and they need to be out of there. Afraid, well, what if love doesn't come around again? That wasn't love. That was fear. That was a bad behavior on the table. That was nothing. No, that's not what that was. Don't be, be aware of holding on to fear and rekindling, because being afraid is not going to come around again, or I may have missed my train. If you believe it will, you will, and you can. All right. We are right at 15 minutes. If you don't follow me, make sure that you go to my website, www.kimwilsonspeaks.com, sign up and get on my email list so you don't miss another event, another notification, or anything that I'm doing. You could have been anywhere in this world, but you chose to rock and roll with me tonight, and I don't take that lightly. Remember, don't settle for okay when amazing is an option. I'll see you next Thursday, 9:30 p.m. All right. Take us out, Bree.